Hello everybody and welcome to the Go Big or Go Home review of the Voopoo, which is still a silly name, the Voopoo Drag. So here we have the drag mod from Voopoo. I've got my dead rabbit on the top of there. It's doing good. It's essentially a 5 to 157 watt, seems like an odd number, 157, but it goes up to 157 watts. Nice bright OLED screen on there. One thing about this mod, I do like the build quality, very good, but the screen is really nice and bright on there as well. Nice and simple. There's no, one of the things about the pro color and the alien stuff like that, all that information, it's really nice, but it's a bit, can be a bit crowded. This, you've got your ohms, your volts, your battery, and what wattage you're firing at. It's really nice little screen. It's let me check. It's an OLED screen, which is good, but I think it's 0.9 of an inch. This is actually a bit of an older mod. This is the resin edition, which each one's unique, which is a nice thing. All the panels, each one is never the same. It fires almost instantly. I think, and that button's so nice and clicky. Nice big silver button there. There's not really a lot of interface. You've got your USB at the bottom, mainly for upgrading firmware. You can charge it obviously from that, but we would recommend an external battery charger, as I would with any dual battery mod. Single battery mod you're okay with, but you know, dual battery, if you can, get yourself an external charger. You've got your up and your down button for your wattage, and your fire button. That's about it. Does fire instantly. It's so good. Back panel with your batteries. Nice little pulley for your batteries to come out. There is, don't know if you can hear that, tiny bit of door rattle, but only when you move it with your finger. The actual mod itself, nice weight to it. I've had some people hold it and go, oh, it's a bit of a tank that. I find it just a nice weight. It's not too heavy. It's quite slim as well. It's slimmer than the Alien. It reminds me a lot of the old Sigelli 100s, the old like big black box mods from back in the day. It's smaller, but it has that same sort of angular feel and the same strong build quality as well. It's very, I feel like if I dropped this, I'd dent the floor rather than the mod. There is one nice feature as well. You've got nice 510 connection there, but what it does, it'll say check atomizer, so you can set it to whatever you want on the wattage. It'll ask you new coil, press up, and it will automatically adjust the wattage to what it thinks you should be vaping at. Now, it's a bit hit or miss. I have a 7 wraps 22 gauge dual coil 0.16. It tells me I should be running it at 55, 50. It vapes, it's fine, but I do find myself adjusting it. I tend to knock it up 5-10 watts more than what it says. That's my personal preference as well. I'm sure there's going to be people who will put tanks on here and it's fine. The only thing I did put on here was a Crown 3 with the 0.25 coil in there, and it told me I should be vaping at like 40 watts. Really, you should be running that at like 75, 80. I'm not sure the algorithm they use, but it's there, and it's a nice feature when it works. It's a bit angular, is the only other thing. They're not sharp, the corners, but you can, I find it quite comfy, but I could see why people would find that it's not very ergonomic in the hands, but it's not too bad. That fire button is really good. I loved it. It's just slightly concave, so your thumb just sits in there. Again, it's going to be personal preference, that I think. If you can get hold of one, give it a try. Maybe see. For me, it's fine. It fits in the pocket, great. Shush phone. It fits in the pocket, great. Any tank or anything like that I've thrown on in here will sit flush. Now, the other downside to the design, I'm not sure if you really be able to see it on the camera, but there's like an indent right round the edge. So my dead rabbit sits on here flush as it is, but there is a little gap between the base and where it juts back out like that. Anything sort of 22mm, you're going to be fine. Anything 23, 24, like this dead rabbit, will look fine, but there is that little tiny sort of, just a little notch underneath. I don't notice it, and I'm usually pretty on point with things like that. I like my mods to look good, hence the matching drip tips. Yeah, it's a really decent little mod. It is an older one. They used to come in a silver with a very sort of, it was almost like fish scaly type, shiny, didn't like it. Then they released this black resin edition. You can get them in a few different colours. There's like a nice green, there's this one, I'm not sure what they call this. There's like a purpley one. Again, each panel's unique, which is a nice little feature. You just don't want to do what I did, whereas when I got one and then we opened up some others to put them on display, and I found one that I liked a bit more. But you get what it is, it's not the end of the world. The paint, I have to say as well, is holding up very well on this. This has been my daily mod. I basically just used this and nothing else. Probably about 2 months now. There's some slight paint going on the edges. It doesn't take away. It's not like, again, like the Alien with the Bad Batch where the paint was coming off. I've got a Wismet Gen 3 as well that I know I dropped that, but I mean there was edge just from putting it down on the table or whatever. The paint had started to go off the bottom. This is pretty much spotless. You can't really knock it. They're also, because they're a bit of an older mod, not very expensive. We sell them at 50 at Mersey Vapor, 60 with your batteries. And for something that is essentially, I mean, it's called the Genie chip, but it's as close to a DNA chip as you're gonna get without paying DNA prices. I mean, there's still pre-owned DNA mods out there going for, you know, hundreds, if not more, depending. It's the same. You can plug it into your computer. You can mess around with how everything looks. I've left it pretty much stock. It's got your temp control, any kind of temp control, you know, your standards, nickel, titanium, stainless steel. All that is done 3 clicks from the button. Go through your settings. You got your temperature, and again, and again. It's all there. And it's nice and easy. You're not bouncing into settings and holding fire to get to this, to that. You know, it's just 3 clicks, boom, I'm in nickel. 3 clicks, I'm in titanium. 3 clicks, stainless steel. 3 clicks, back to wattage. It has something called, I think they call it super mode, something like that, from 130 up to 157. Yes, 157 this mod goes up to. Essentially, it's a gimmick. I mean, it does its job, but I don't really know that many people who are vaping that high anymore. Anyway, the days of like the TFV8, you know, the big T12 coils, that sort of thing. Most, if not pretty much all tanks nowadays, I mean RDAs maybe you'd be putting that kind of power. Maybe. I don't know. If you are, it's there. If you want it, if you really want to like kick out those clouds, you can just belt them down. I don't. I sit at 70 watts on this 22 build, 80 watts on my Crown 3. Again, The threads, nice and smooth. Everything sits flush that I've put on here. That button's so nice and clicky as well. I do love that. Nice clicky up and down buttons as well. You can lock it, so power up and the fire button. It's a little bit of a pain because I have sometimes pressed the up button to go to lock it and turned it up a wattage. And I don't have OCD, but it kicks in because I like it to be a nice round 70, and then it's locked at 71, and I have to unlock it, turn it down, then lock it again. But that's just a little annoyance from me. The software as well for customizing your screen is really easy to use. I've had a look around on the internet. There are a few different sort of sources, I suppose, of pre-made ones, but essentially you can make your own. All it is just an image, and you can upload them, make them within the software. All that's available on the internet, so you can just find the software, make your own. You can say whatever you want it to say when it turns on. All that sort of customization is there. As it stands, I quite like the screen the way it is. It's a nice, bright, bold screen. I can see all the information I need to see right there. It's a feature, you know. It's there if you want to do it. I'm not that bothered. I'm sure there's people out there who've made absolutely wonderful layouts and stuff, but yeah, I don't really care. The name, I mean, it's a Voopoo. I've been in the shop and people have asked me like, "Oh, what's that mod?" What you say? You sound a bit silly saying the Voopoo. The drag. It is. If you can look past the silly name, and you want a really, really solid, really well built. I can imagine this being good for the likes of sort of builders and people in construction, that sort of thing. That and the Tesla Yeehy, both of those feel really, really solid. Like I can imagine this, you know, throw it in your pocket if you're at work or whatever. You know, if it takes a knock, it's not going to be the end of the world. Obviously, they're not indestructible. Nothing is, but you know. Yeah, it's a really good mod. I would recommend them. Say the only downsides, it's a bit angular, but you know, that's going to be personal preference as well. I don't find it too bad, and it fires instantly. It's so good. It's just boom, straight away. No messing, no ramp up time, no nothing. Just straight away. There you go, vaping. Yeah, I'd highly recommend them. I'd highly recommend them. As I say, I got this in because I asked the lad from the shop that does the stock. Thanks, Ash. I asked him if he could pick one up because my Gen 3 was messing up, as I mentioned in my Revo review. And I'd looked around and these were, you know, relatively, didn't want to break the bank. I don't really like the new, the look of things like the T-Priv, stuff like that coming out. There was a few other mods, but I just wanted something a bit fancier, but not breaking the bank. And as I say, because it's a re-release of an older mod with new colours and such, it's not very expensive at all. And he picked them up, and they're actually there's only one member of staff now who doesn't have one of these. I think maybe two, because they are very, very, very good. It says a lot when everyone adopts a mod. I think it's that build quality and the fact it just fires. It's so good. Yeah, I would highly recommend them. As I say, we had them £60 for a mod. You would need to put a tank with it. It doesn't come as a kit as far as I'm aware. It is just your mod, so it's maybe geared towards the people that have something already. You know, I think this would be great with something like a Baby Beast. I was running it with the Revo for quite a while as well. I've just got back into my RDAs again, so again, cracking mod, highly recommended. Make sure you pop into Mersey Vapor and pick one up if you're in the market for a new mod. And those resin colours, gorgeous. There's some absolutely beautiful ones out there. I think that's it for the review. As I say, great little mod. I'd just like to take a second to thank everyone who watched the old review, the older videos. There's 2 up now. I am in the process of trying to get a schedule down, please do bear with me. I know that they're a little bit few and far between at the moment. I've had some illness and stuff, and it's just, but I will hopefully be now getting into a schedule. I'm looking at trying to keep it to getting a video up on Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, that sort of time. I would like as well, in the comments below, if anyone has any ideas on what they'd like me to review next, if anyone's got any thoughts, maybe something like, would anybody be interested in build tutorials? I do get a lot of people asking me about what coils, and you know, how easy is it to make coils. Is that something you guys would be interested in? It's something I'm thinking about. I wouldn't mind showing you guys how to get into the old RDA world, because it can be quite daunting. Obviously there's the whole making me own, and you know, shorts, and it's something to think about. But yeah, any mods, any tanks. I'd also like to know what you guys are running at the moment and why you're running your kits. What's your favourite setup? Any juice recommendations? I'm considering doing some juice reviews. At the moment, I'm on the iHeart VG Bubblegum Millions. Now this stuff, amazing, brilliant. This and the Appleberry Crumble are my favourites. Oh, it's just so nice. Such a nice bubblegum flavour. But yeah. So yeah, down in the comments, let me know what you think. Give this a like, a subscribe. Give me those comments, let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time.